It was a rough day on Wall Street. Stocks fell sharply. The market's concerned that consumer spending, the engine that drives the economy, is still weak. The Dow Industrials dropped like a stone at the open and stayed in negative territory all day long, closing down 186 points. That's the largest one-day drop since early July. So David Muir is joining us tonight with the latest on this. David?
Charlie, so many investors, Americans with 401ks, might be asking what happened. Things were going so well on Wall Street, a 5-month rally, and economists talking about recovery. But it turns out what was fueling the market is now fueling concern.
After so much talk of recovery, today an unwelcome reality check on Wall Street.
When you watch a 5-month rally, you hear about recovery. Do you think people were jumping the gun here?
Well, I think hopes got far ahead of reality, and that was part of the problem.
And the reality, economists say, is that this recovery will be a rocky one. Why today's huge drop on the Dow? Investors are beginning to realize that this rally can't be sustained because the profits that drove the Dow up were made not from sales, but someplace else.
The profits did definitely come from cost cutting and cost trimming and expense reduction, which is essentially the same thing, but not from selling more goods.
And that equation can only turn profits for so long before there's little left to trim. Eventually, you have to start selling again. And that's where the next major hurdle comes in, the American consumer, many of whom just aren't ready to buy. Just today, home improvement retailer Lowe's reported earnings down 19%. And new numbers on back-to-school shopping show sales down 5% from a year ago. And economists predict a dismal August, too. Millions in profits from sales of school clothes and supplies lost.
We're still running at confidence levels that are consistent with the worst of the recessions of the early 1980s. Even with the Cash for Clunkers program in July, we had a decline in overall consumer spending.
And without that consumer spending, Wall Street knows that this 5-month rally was bound to crack. And today, they told us, it did.
What the old fogies like me on the floor had been looking for was a little bit of growth in sales. The consumer is the heart and soul of the American economy.
So today you think is a bit of a reality check?
Absolutely.
And there's really little indication tonight that consumers are going to start spending more anytime soon. And that could have a prolonged effect on the market, given the fact that consumer spending accounts for 2/3 of the economy in this country, Charlie.
You've been talking about the consumer spending in the United States. There weren't markets all over the world down today?
Yeah, they were. Shanghai down 6%, European markets down. So they all watch what U.S. consumers are spending, too, because of the imports. It seems we drive the global economy with what we spend.